Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Ben5 on the StonedDestroyer channel. First off, I apologize for my voice. I'm actually getting over being sick, and this is probably the worst I've been sick in probably 5 or 6 years. So it's been quite some time, but I'm finally getting over it. My voice is still a little nasally, so that's what I'm apologizing for. But since the last video I did, I've actually got a lot of my toys and stuff set up here in my geek cave. Like I said, eventually I might do like some kind of like little tour. It's not really anything to behold. I mean, like I said, I've seen collections way bigger than mine, um, but I'm pretty happy with my collection. It's ever expanding. I've got over 300 clone and stormtroopers slash imperial figures. So I've got a bit, and but yeah, I mean that's not the point of this video. I like to geek out too much. I think that's why I want to make this damn channel. So there is one subject or one show from the late 80s, early 90s that I think anyone who's born in the 80s or the early 90s will appreciate, and that is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And I figured, why the hell not? Why not wear the shirt? Obviously, blue's not my color, but why not wear it? And I'm drinking a beer for this video. Why not? If you guys are wondering, it's Thirsty Dog Brewing Company Barktoberfest. Since I like dogs, I went ahead and got it because there's dogs and it's Thirsty Dog. Anyway, so Ninja Turtles was one of those shows that everyone liked. I was born in 85. My brother was born in 87. I believe my cousin was born in 82, maybe 83. We all loved Ninja Turtles. That was the show. I remember every weekday. I believe it was 3:30. I believe this is all off my just memory. I believe it was 3 o'clock was because that was after my grandma's soap operas. There was Chippendales Rescue Rangers and then Ninja Turtles. An hour of Ninja Turtles, which was awesome. And we watched it, and not only did we watch it, but we played with the toys constantly. We love these things. Every year for Christmas, I remember getting all the awesome Ninja Turtles stuff. Even throughout the year, there was the Technodrome, the module. I forget what the pizza launcher is called, because it's weird that some people, they seem to think that the Party Wagon was actually the pizza launcher, and it actually wasn't. That was a separate vehicle. It had this kind of tank base. It was on wheels, and you could turn this big launcher. Basically what it was this motor, and you'd kind of just push a button. It'd send these pizzas into the motor, and it'd send them flying. And I remember eventually it broke, so we just started shooting the pizzas at each other. But anyway, Ninja Turtles had its heyday. Apparently it was number one, I think, for 5 straight years, and it was on for like a decade, which is pretty amazing. But because of shows like Power Rangers and even some like the lesser known ones, or I shouldn't say lesser known, but like lesser watched shows like VR Troopers, Big Bad Beetleborgs, and a few others, Ninja Turtles kind of went away, but they kept trying to bring it back. Like I remember there was a live action show called I believe it was called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Next Mutation, in which they got rid of April O'Neil and I believe Casey Jones, and maybe not Casey Jones. I know April O'Neil was not on the show, but they had a female turtle, Venus de Milo. And then they tried to bring it back in like the early 2000s. And the cool thing about that show was they actually had kind of a crossover with the 80s Turtles and the Mirage, or the original comic Turtles, and they were black and white. Never got to finish watching that, but I really need to. It's here on YouTube. I forget what it's called, but I thought it was really cool from what I saw. And now Ninja Turtles seems to have gotten a foothold. So that's really cool that, kids of today are really getting into it. Now, the new show I'm not into because I'm more of a classic kind of guy. But I think it's awesome that, kids are getting excited about, buying these dress-up sets and, like, the shells and all this. So, recently at Toys R Us, and it's not that recent, it was probably about a month ago, I went up there and I just happened to see that they had re-released a lot of the original Ninja Turtles. They had the 4 Turtles, Splinter, Shredder, the Party Wagon, and then a couple other these mech suits, which some people asked me if I bought those, people I know, and I said no, because they were actually released in 2003, plus they were $70 a piece. The Party Wagon was already $60, which I think was way too much. But the mech suits, there were only 2 of them, and they didn't pique my interest. But I did pick up the originals. And the cool, I mean, all the figures and the Party Wagon. And the cool thing is, like, the packages, with the exception of, like, a couple things that are modern, like, you know, the new markings and, like, letting people know that it's not the originals, which I'm glad they do that, because there are way too many people out there who would scam, you know, unsuspecting bidders, like, on eBay, or just normal people and say, this is an original mint and package. They actually, you know, said, like, the classic collection and all that. But I picked all those up because I just felt like I had to have them. I really did. I mean, I've always loved Ninja Turtles. Even, like, when I wasn't, like, really into it, I still loved it. It was still one of those things that always brought back memories. So I figured I would go ahead and do a review, because I tried to record this video once at my old place, but at the time I didn't have the Party Wagon. In fact, I think I might have only had the 4 Turtles. So what I'm going to do is and I'm sorry that this intro took forever, but like always, I'm going to go ahead and, you know, if you've watched this far, obviously it doesn't matter to you, but I'm going to put, you know, a timestamp, like, you know, you could just skip to the review at this time. And yeah, so let's go ahead and get going. I'm probably going to be spending quite a bit of time on these because there is a bit to talk about. Probably going to be some edits where I'm going to cut back to myself and all that. So I don't even know what I'm saying. Why not just do it? But anyway, so let's crack on, shall we? Alright, first off, let me apologize for the bad lighting. I'm trying to compensate by using flashlights. My last place, I had a laundry area that actually had nice fluorescent lighting. This place doesn't. I'm trying to work on that to get a better filming area, but for right now, this should work. But as you guys can see, these are the originals. And from what I understand, these are the same molds that they used for the ones back in the day. In fact, they even come with a little trees. I just thought these were part trees. I didn't know they were actually weapons racks. So we always threw these away. But I do have one kind of loaded up. I put, you know, like the Chinese stars on there. And apparently you can hang other weapons too, but I don't really plan on using these. I'm just saving them, you know, for the sake of saving them. So yeah, but I did save one of the cards, and I don't know if you guys can read that. I don't particularly like when people read it out on videos, but the thing is, the art's terrible, just like the originals. The story doesn't even follow the original, but as you guys can see, you know, it has the classic collection up there, originally released in 1988, has it up there too, and then the Nickelodeon's been added. It's still Playmates, which, you know, obviously, because they, well, I mean, other companies could get the rights, but, you know, they have, you know, all the figures and the Party Wagon, so that's awesome. And I'm going to be showing the Party Wagon here. I just wanted to kind of show the figures first. So I did keep the card. And if you guys know the theme song, you'll know why I put them in that order. I also try to pose them, like, according to the back of the package, so I don't really like to take them out of that pose because it took a while. Raphael even has the little back part that you can put that knife thing into. I never even used any of the other weapons, and I really didn't know anyone who did, except for, like, maybe with foot soldiers, which that's one figure I really wish they would have released. Also Beebop and Rocksteady. In fact, I might even have my old Beebop and Rocksteady somewhere, maybe at my dad's place or something. But then Donatello, he comes with the 2 bow staffs, which doesn't make any sense because he only has the holster for 1, and he only had 1. But, you know, nonetheless, it's cool. Now, the one that I didn't pose according to the package is Splinter, and that's because the bow and arrow that he comes with, that was always one of my favorite weapons as a kid. I thought that was awesome. And Splinter was one of my brother's favorites. But I put the staff because you can actually take this off, and it has the hidden sword, just like the original, which I think is awesome. But I want to keep that like that because this was the weapon he used. Now, the one thing I never got, but, I mean, this is how the originals were too, so I'm not going to alter it, is why they didn't paint the pupils on his eyes. They're just all white. Then again, the Turtles are too, and I don't really understand that. But, again, I'm not going to mess with these because they're like the originals. If I bought a second set, maybe I would customize them a bit more. And Shredder, it's weird because the Turtles are actually kind of short compared to him, and he's actually crouching. So he would be actually, you know, pretty tall compared to the Turtles, which, you know, I don't think it was like that in the show. Yeah, he was a bit taller, but not that much. And another thing, as a kid, it seemed like every kid lost this cape, the belt, and Splinter's belt and cloak. We had them, they just got lost. But and I'm glad that this is like the original, but it always bothered me that these are not the colors that he had on the show. It wasn't blue and purple. He had a shirt on, and all the armor was silver. But like I said, these are like the originals, so they bring back a lot of memories. The only complaint I have is my Michelangelo is kind of defective. Like, the legs aren't really that great, but I wasn't going to return it to get another one because who really cares? Also, I don't know if the originals were like this, or maybe they were and I just don't remember, or maybe I didn't care, but the connectors, like what's supposed to be the chain for the nunchucks, is very, very brittle. Like, I'll try to get a close-up. I mean, it's already turning white just by flexing it, and I wasn't really messing with it. Same here. I mean, it's turning white from flexing it, and that kind of bothers me. But yeah, again, the originals could have been like that. I just don't know. Well, I don't remember. But the one thing is, I was able to actually pop the weapons out of the weapons tree. I used, an X-Acto knife, and I was able to cut off most of the flash. There's still one of Leonardo's swords. Probably a couple other pieces too, but these are awesome. These are parts of my pride and joy, of my vintage toy collection, I guess you can call it. I only have a few things in the collection so far, but if you guys remember these, you'll just notice. I mean, you'll know right off the bat. Like, okay, that's the real deal. They're awesome. The posability is lacking. They're tiny. They're only about 4 inches tall a piece, and yeah, they're not exactly show accurate, but I don't care. I love them, and if you guys are like me, you'll love them too. So that's enough of the figures. Let's go ahead and go to the Party Wagon. Alright, I figured I'd show the box first on this. Hopefully I have a good angle, but this is, pretty much like the original box. Again, it has, the classic collection right there. Still, the original box art. A bit better than the back of the packages of the blister ones, at least. The details are all there. The bottom has, the figures, and then the 2 mech ones I was talking about. But actually, I said 2003 earlier in the video. It's 2004. To me, it's even worse. Honestly, I would have much rather had something like the module, or even like small vehicles, like the Cheapskate. There are a few others, like they had floats and stuff like that, which some of those were actually in the show, which I thought would have been cooler. But there's only Leonardo and Raphael. But they do have the original figures, which is cool. But like I said, they're like 60 or 70 bucks. The back of the package, I might be wrong, but I think this is... Actually, no, now that I'm looking at this is the new version. That is the one from now. But most of this stuff, is like the original. Like, it even has this thing, I'll read this out. I don't like to read stuff out. But, turtle-plated flip top allows easy access for 6 figures, even more if you squish them. And then I remember this thing like, congratulations, you're now the proud owner of the most advanced party vehicle ever designed, blah, blah, blah. But, the sides, it has the origin story again. Top is, same as the back. And that side, same as the back. So, and I'm going to keep that package just because why not? So, here it is. The Party Wagon. Again, I don't know. Actually, I'll leave a link in the description. Some guy actually took... I believe it was a Volkswagen bus, and he actually made the Party Wagon. He had all the details down, except for like maybe these, and he even had a life-size dummy of a Ninja Turtle in the passenger seat. He did everything, and it looks great. And they're like, oh, does it launch pizzas? And it's like, again, this isn't, this wasn't the vehicle that launched pizzas, but it is cool. But to me, this was just always one of the coolest things ever. I remember as a kid, this thing seemed huge, and now, it's pretty small, but I remember as a kid, I could basically, like, ride this thing, which was pretty stupid. I think that ended up kind of messing it up, but it has, like, the flip-down shield thing, which kind of sucks, because the dish is pointing that way. Wish they would have made some kind of pivot in there, but, it has all the details, the uncolored headlights. Now, one thing, if I'm not mistaken, you actually got a sticker sheet with the original, and sorry if you guys can hear the rain, we're getting a pretty bad storm. But, because I think, if I'm not mistaken, I actually put these on kind of crooked. These stickers came on pre-applied, which kind of bothered me, because I really was hoping to do it myself and make sure that everything was perfect, because this is a little slanted downward. This is a little crooked. Speaking of stickers, it has most of the stuff, like, the foot stinks, the window stickers, the party time thing, even the top one, which is on the fin, that's cool. But it's missing the one, and it's weird because even on the box, right here, it's, what is that? Boot the foot. That sticker is actually missing. Also, another thing that they show on the package is, I'm going to open this up slowly because this thing really flings out. The bombs were supposed to have labels around there. And in fact, they actually re-released these bombs with a couple other things. Like, the one that I remember the most is the turtle blimp. It actually, I believe, had 6 of these in a row, and you'd pull a trigger and they would all drop down. But those actually had labels too, but it didn't come with those. That kind of bothers me. I mean, it's not like the worst thing you can really complain about, but nonetheless, it's not exactly like the originals, and that kind of annoys me. Now, one thing they did correct is they actually put a better band in here, because if I'm not mistaken, this thing broke. I think it just came with a rubber band, and we had to keep replacing that rubber band, if you wanted the turtle to stay in there. And also on the show, I believe there was a gun on there, but, that wasn't on the original. But, the top opens like the original, and actually, this thing flings out like that, and it's supposed to be like a foot tenderizer on there. But yeah, it flips out like that. It has the bench seats in the back, and then obviously you can get to the front too, so that's really cool. You can kind of turn the guns, so yeah, that's it. I mean, like I said, just like the figures, this is basic, and if you just look at it, but you're gonna say, oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That is awesome. In fact, when I bought it, my friends saw it, and they're like, dude, I'm so jealous that you actually are buying that. I can thank one of my wife's grandparents, because one of them passed away and left us a bit of money, and some of that money was just kind of to blow. So I got this and the indoor AT-AT for my Star Wars collection, which I probably will be doing a review. In fact, what I might do is do a comparison between that and the Hoth AT-AT. But yeah, I mean, this is really awesome. Apparently, when they re-released this a few years ago, which I actually did miss that, and I was really disappointed because I actually found out about it later. And by the time I found out about it, they were going for a really high dollar amount. But apparently, it was like $20 when it was released just a few years ago. And now it's $59.99. I believe it's a Toys R Us exclusive, but I'm more than happy to pay that. Honestly, I really don't care about the money. It's, to me, this, when my wife let me buy it, because I didn't think she was going to let me, I said, thank you very much. This means so much to me, because it just brings back so many memories, and it was one of my favorite toys. This was probably one of the most fun toys I had as a kid, even though you really couldn't turn it except manually like that. It just rolled. But we had so much fun with this. So, I'm going to give a few final words. I decided to take off the jacket because it's getting a bit warm. It's November now, and it's still pretty warm. But anyway, I just want to give a few final words about my overall impressions. If you couldn't tell by my review, I'm really happy that they decided to re-release these. I think it was just a great idea. Now, the price point is pretty high. I believe the figures are $12.99 each, and the Party Wagon, like I said, is $59.99, so it's kind of a high dollar amount, but I think it was meant more for, collectors. I think this was made more for us, as adults, when we could afford it, and, we lost our figures. In fact, I think maybe my dad has his original Leonardo. In fact, I think he has a few original Leonardos, the movie version, the little bendy one. I think he had a few others, too. But mine are probably long gone. If not, then it's just the figures, no accessories or anything like that. But, yeah, I'm just really happy with it. Hopefully they will do some more, because so far they seem to be pretty successful. And I know a lot of people have been saying, I hope they re-release this and this. But then again, I understand if they don't re-release a whole lot of them, because there's a lot of stuff that we remember and that we would really love to have. I know the blimp would be awesome. In fact, I'd love to have that thing hanging from my ceiling. Because I remember I kind of purposefully destroyed mine. But but for a reason. I'm not going to go into it, but that was awesome. The Technodrome, which what I'll do is if you guys are really feeling nostalgic, I'm gonna link a video in the description to a review of the Technodrome. Now this guy got one with all the pieces, so it's really cool, and he actually goes into like all the play features of it, and it's really awesome. I really love the video, so if you guys want to see a really good review of the Technodrome, I'm gonna go ahead and watch that. The only ones I'm really hoping they release are the Foot Soldier, Beebop and Rocksteady, and hopefully Kraang. Because the only thing that really disappointed me about Kraang was it seemed like they didn't release the version of him like in the body, like one that's in scale with those, until years later. Because for a long time it was just like the one that he had like the kind of little chair thing that had legs, then the arms that would go like this, that you could actually attach to the Technodrome thing that would hold Kraang. I believe they did like a big body, but again, by that time I think I was kind of getting out of it, and by that time it was kind of too late. But vehicle-wise, it would be really cool to see the module again. But hopefully they keep doing some of these, because I think they will sell. Maybe they're not selling as fast as they were hoping, at least not at my local Toys R Us, but I think they are selling, and I've heard people get really excited about it. And even if they just pick up one or two, I mean, that's one or two. In fact, I even heard someone say, like, I really wanted a Foot Soldier, but I guess they didn't release that. And I think they kind of missed a really good opportunity. And instead of, taking that opportunity to release, Foot Soldier, stuff like that, they released those Mech ones, which, yeah, they were cool, but honestly, if you guys are like me, you have really no reason to get them. But, anyway, I think this video turned out way too long. I did this before, but again, I didn't have the Party Wagon, and I had planned on just doing 2 separate parts, but since I have them all now, I'm at my new place, and it's a better location, I just figured I would do all of them in one go. So, I hope you guys enjoy this review. I'm probably going to be doing some other ones, too. I've got plenty of Star Wars stuff I can review, a lot of, like, older stuff. If you guys can see back there, you may not be able to. I have plenty of Power Ranger stuff. I have 2 Ultra Zords and the original line of the morphing Rangers, like the ones where the heads would flip. So I've got plenty of stuff I want to review, and I think one of my friends actually might be able to do some reviews on this channel at a future date. So yeah, hopefully you guys had fun. I know I did with this. So until next time, this is Ben 5 on the StonedDestroyer channel. So have a good one.